This is the full life story of Ser Duncan the Tall, from orphan street urchin in Flea Bottom to Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. But how did a simple hedge knight with no name, no family, and possibly not even a true knighthood rise to stand beside kings? Did he truly earn every honor he received, or did he bend the truth to get there? Before the Mad King, before Robert's Rebellion, before Game of Thrones ever began, there was a towering knight whose choices quietly shaped the entire fate of Westeros. This is the complete story of Dunk the Lunk, and how he became one of the greatest knights in the history of the Seven Kingdoms. Duncan's earliest memories were of Flea Bottom and King's Landing, an orphan street urchin running with a group of children named Ferret, Rafe, and Pudding. He never knew his parents, but he suspected his father might have been a criminal, and now all he knew was survival. Then everything changed. A hedge knight named Sir Arlan of Pennytree found Dunk chasing a pig in the streets and took him on as a squire. Dunk was only 5 or 6 years old. In the TV series A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Sir Arlan rescued Dunk in an alleyway fight, and Dunk was actually a few years older. For the next several years, he traveled the Seven Kingdoms with Sir Arlan, serving lords, fighting in minor conflicts, learning swordplay, and dreaming of something greater. Dunk was massive, nearly 7 feet tall, strong, quick, and far better with a sword, axe, or mace than with a lance. But he always thought of himself as slow and thick-headed, repeating to himself, "Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall." Still, he dreamed of one day wearing white, becoming a knight of the Kingsguard. In the year 209 AC, Sir Arlan died on the road to Ashford Meadow. Instead of returning to Flea Bottom, Dunk buried his master and chose to compete in the tourney himself. He claimed Sir Arlan had knighted him before his death, something that may or may not have been true. Either way, Dunk stepped into the world as Ser Duncan the Tall. At Ashford, he met a bald-headed boy named Egg who begged to be his squire. Dunk agreed, believing the boy would be another Flea Bottom orphan. He was wrong. Egg was actually Prince Aegon Targaryen. The two slowly began to build a strong relationship that would last an entire lifetime. When Prince Aerion Targaryen attacked a puppeteer named Tansel, Dunk defended her, striking a prince. That act led to Aerion calling for a trial of 7, knowing Dunk likely wouldn't be able to find 6 other knights to fight alongside him. Dunk was able to find several knights though, and at the last minute, Prince Baelor Targaryen joined his side to fight for honor. Against Kingsguard knights and royal princes, Dunk stood his ground. The small folk rallied behind him because he remembered what knighthood truly meant: to protect the weak and defend the innocent. Dunk was able to defeat Aerion during the trial and had his name cleared, but victory came at a cost. Prince Baelor died from a blow to the head suffered in the trial. Dunk carried that guilt for the rest of his life. From that day forward, Prince Aegon remained his squire, though the TV series makes it known that Egg's father Maekar did not approve of this before the two left Ashford. The Hedge Knight and the Hidden Prince became legends: Dunk and Egg. After Ashford Meadow, Dunk made a defining choice. He refused life at court. Prince Maekar offered him a place so Egg could squire in safety, but Dunk believed a future king needed to understand the real Seven Kingdoms. So they stayed hedge knights and took to the road. They traveled through Dorne, crossed the Prince's Pass, and drifted down the Greensblood to Plankytown. Dunk awkwardly insulted Lady Vaith, survived desert hardship, losing his horse Chestnut along the way, and even fought off raiders at sea on their way to Old Town. There, Maester Aemon confirmed what everyone suspected. Dunk was nearly 7 feet tall, and he was also given a mule named Maester. But their most important stop was in the Reach. Dunk and Egg entered the service of Sir Eustace Osgrey at Standfast, a fallen knight who had backed the Blackfires and lost much of his former glory. His lands were failing, and his neighbor, Rohan Webber of Coldmoat, had dammed the Chequy water, cutting off vital water to his people. When tensions escalated, especially after a reckless act by another knight in Eustace's service, war seemed inevitable. Dunk tried to stop it. He rode to Coldmoat to negotiate with Rohan, a fierce and sharp-witted widow. He learned the truth about Eustace's past and realized the conflict was deeper than simple pride. Instead of leading peasants to slaughter, Dunk proposed trial by combat. He faced Rohan's champion, Sir Lucas Inchfield, in a brutal duel in the stream itself. Using sheer strength and grit, Dunk killed Lucas, but nearly drowned in the process himself. In the end, massive bloodshed was avoided. Rohan and Eustace resolved their feud and actually married, uniting their lands. Dunk left Standfast scarred, wiser, and quietly heartbroken, taking with him a cut piece of Rohan's red braid, and once again, he chose the road. Dunk and Egg originally planned to travel north to serve Lord Baron Stark against Ironborn raiders, but a chance encounter on the road changed everything. They were invited to a wedding tourney at White Walls, where the champion's prize was rumored to be a dragon egg. That alone was enough to draw attention, but Egg quickly realized something far more dangerous. Many of the lords attending had once fought for House Blackfire. This wasn't just a wedding. it was a gathering of rebels. At the center of it all was a charming young hedge knight named Sir John the Fiddler, who claimed to dream prophetic dreams. He told Dunk he had seen him wearing the white armor of the Kingsguard, but the truth was far bigger and far more dangerous. The Fiddler was actually Daemon Blackfyre. The tourney had been carefully arranged to crown him, using the dragon egg as a symbol of legitimacy. Bribes were paid, tilts were rigged, and when the egg mysteriously vanished, an innocent knight was framed to keep suspicion away from the real conspirators. As the plot unraveled, Egg revealed his true identity and bluffed that Prince Maekar was marching on White Walls with an army. Panic spread. Dunk publicly exposed Daemon, so he challenged Dunk to a trial by combat, but Dunk refused to fight him, calling him a pretender and noting that he wasn't worth the blood. Instead, Sir Glendon Flowers, who had been tortured and framed, fought Daemon II in a joust and unhorsed him, utterly humiliating him and ending the rebellion's momentum. And just moments later, Bloodraven arrived with royal forces, crushing the rebellion before it could truly begin. Once again, Dunk hadn't sought out greatness, but by standing firm and refusing to ignore what felt wrong, he helped stop a civil war before it tore the realm apart. For years, Dunk and Egg continued wandering the Seven Kingdoms, a hedge knight and his unlikely squire, but history was moving around them. After King Aerys I died without children, the crown passed to his brother Maekar I, Egg's father. Dunk and Egg were present during the unrest that followed, including the Peak Uprising, where King Maekar was killed in battle. That's when everything changed. Maekar's heirs were divided. The question of succession was unclear, so a great council was called in 233 AC to decide who would rule. Egg, once the bald-headed boy hiding his silver hair, was chosen. Prince Aegon Targaryen became King Aegon V, and the hedge knight who had raised him on the road stood at his side. Aegon never forgot who helped shape him. He had seen poverty, injustice, and the struggles of the small folk because Dunk had insisted on living among them. As king, Aegon V pushed reforms to help the common people, policies that angered many powerful lords. Dunk remained his shield. By 236 AC, Ser Duncan the Tall had joined the Kingsguard. During the 4th Blackfyre Rebellion, he personally slew Daemon III Blackfyre, ending another pretender's claim. Eventually, Dunk achieved the dream he had carried since boyhood in Flea Bottom. He became Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. From orphan to hedge knight to the highest sworn sword in the realm, all without ever losing the simple code he learned on the streets: protect the innocent and stand your ground. In 259 AC, Dunk's story reached its final tragic chapter. King Aegon V, obsessed with the dream of hatching dragons once more, attempted a dangerous ritual at Summerhall. Fire and alchemical experiments combined in a catastrophe. Flames engulfed the castle, consuming much of the royal party. Dunk, by then Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, fought valiantly to save as many as he could. He helped escort survivors to safety, shielding the king, Prince Duncan, and others from the worst of the inferno. But the fire claimed him as well. Alongside King Aegon and Prince Duncan, Dunk was believed to have perished in the blaze. Some rumors, including hints from George R.R. Martin though, suggest he may have survived. But history records Summerhall as the day the great hedge knight fell. Dunk's legacy echoes throughout Game of Thrones. Jaime Lannister reads of him in The White Book. Barristan Selmy once defeated him in Attorney as a boy. Brienne of Tarth carries his sigil and has finally been confirmed to actually be his descendant. A boy from Flea Bottom became Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. He protected the innocent. He stood against princes. He helped prevent rebellions, and he shaped a king. And through that king, Aegon V, his influence shaped the Targaryen dynasty itself. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.